Welcome to Gill Coliseum, the heart of Oregon State University athletics. This iconic arena has witnessed countless triumphs, from thrilling basketball games to electrifying wrestling and gymnastic matches. But the story of Gill Coliseum goes beyond the hardwood and the mat. It's a tale of vision, dedication, and the enduring spirit of the Oregon State Beavers. One such person with this vision and dedication was Irene Carl. A passionate alumni and a driving force within the Oregon State University Alumni Association, Carl was elected president of the Alumni Association in 1950. During her tenure, she championed the construction of Gill Coliseum, recognizing its importance to the university and the community. She is seen here with OSU President August Strand, who is pointing to the location of Gill Coliseum. She was the first female alumni president at OSU. Carl attended what was then called Oregon Agricultural College from 1916 to 1920. She was the captain of the women's basketball team. She is the one holding the ball. And she was the president of the Alpha Chi Omega sorority, which was the university's first national sorority. It was chartered in 1915. In 1926, the sorority moved to this signature Italian villa on the west side of campus. While president of Alpha Chi Omega, Carl received a phone call from the president of the Delta Upsilon fraternity, asking her if she could find a date to the house dance for a 16-year-old freshman member of the fraternity. Unable to find a date for the house dance that night, Carl decided to accompany him herself. Her date was Linus Pauling. Linus Pauling graduated from Oregon Agricultural College in 1922 with a degree in chemical engineering. A giant of 20th century science and a peace activist of international consequence, Pauling is Oregon State University's most famous alumni. He remains the only recipient of two unshared Nobel Prizes, one for chemistry in 1954 and one for peace in 1962. In February 1963, Oregon State Representative Berkeley Lent, a Portland Democrat, asked why the Oregon State University basketball team has never had a black member on the varsity team in all the time the head basketball coach, Amory Slats Gill, has been there. Gill denied the charge of racial discrimination and claimed to have sought out numerous black players. One reason why Oregon State University's basketball team had remained all white may have been a reflection of Oregon's small black population. Gill did not like to go outside Oregon to recruit new players, so there was limited recruitment beyond Oregon. Officially called the Pavilion, the building was informally called Gill Coliseum in honor of Gill, the Beavers basketball coach for 36 seasons, from 1928 to 1964, who compiled a 599 to 392.604 record. He was also the OSU athletic director from 1964 to 1966. After Gill's death in 1966, the State Board of Higher Education officially named the building Gill Coliseum. On February 25, 1969, Linus Pauling delivered the Oregon State University Centennial Lecture in Gill Coliseum. During his speech, approximately 70 students approached the stage in protest of racism on campus, and several of them were allowed to speak to the crowd, estimated at 6,000. In 2017, Oregon State University evaluated the names of several buildings to address concerns that the buildings may have been named after people who potentially had racist and exclusionary views. One of the buildings evaluated was Gill Coliseum. The evaluation process concluded that there was no direct evidence that Gill deliberately kept Oregon State University's basketball team segregated, and Gill Coliseum was not renamed. Built at a cost of $1.8 million, which is $24 million in today's dollars, Gill Coliseum opened in December 1949. The facility had an initial capacity of 10,000, with no seats having views obstructed by support pillars. Gill Coliseum was a marvel of modern engineering, boasting a unique suspended arch design that offered unobstructed views for every spectator. At that time, it was the largest building in the state with no internal structural supports to hinder spectator views. From the very beginning, Gill Coliseum became a cauldron of excitement. The roar of the crowd, the thunder of the hardwood, the electric atmosphere. It was a place where legends were born. A 1951 magazine wrote of the locals' excitement about the new arena. Corvallis, you see, is a college town. Its citizens sardine themselves into a splendid new athletic pavilion, there to cheer on the fortunes of the Oregon State College basketball team. Such was their enthusiasm that they almost blew the roof off the basketball gymnasium. There were 71 straight regular season crowds of at least 10,000 from 1978 to 1985. With their seating limited to the north balcony, students camped on the ramps to get the best seats. Since its opening in 1949, Gill Coliseum has been part of more than 3,500 victories, more than 175 Oregon State All-Americans, and more than 30 individual and team titles. Gill Coliseum was not limited only to sports. It hosted many special events. It served as Oregon State University's venue for commencement ceremonies from 1950 to 2000. The first commencement in Gill Coliseum was in the spring of 1950. About 1,950 graduates received degrees in front of 10,000 relatives and friends. Many entertainers have performed at Gill Coliseum over the years, including, in the 1960s and 1970s, national-known pop and rock stars. Students would camp out on the Gill Coliseum entry ramps to be the first in line for concerts, such as this Simon and Garfunkel concert in 1968. Gill Coliseum also hosted many lectures and speakers, such as then Vice President Richard Nixon in 1954, U.S. Senator Robert Kennedy in 1966, and Jesse Jackson, who spoke in front of an audience of more than 7,000 people while campaigning for president in 1988. Irene Carl, along with countless other alumni and supporters, played a vital role in making Gill Coliseum a reality. Her leadership and dedication to Oregon State University left an indelible mark on the institution. Next time you're at Oregon State University, take a moment to visit Gill Coliseum. And while you're there, walk across the street to the Alumni Center. Behind the center is a small courtyard with brick tiles honoring OSU alumni. One of these tiles is inscribed with the name of Irene Carl, a fitting tribute to a remarkable alumni who helped make the university what it is today. And by the way, that was Irene Carl's one and only date with Linus Pauling. Today, Gill Coliseum continues to serve as the vibrant heart of Oregon State athletics. It's a place where memories are made, traditions are upheld, and the spirit of the Beavers lives on.